Welcome back, everyone, to the No Retakes podcast. I am Josh, the lead trader at MBT. I'm joined today by Abraham, our lead option seller, and our one of our members, X-Rayed, and our head of tech,
your camera's
Palace
not on, right?
AI. My camera is on. So you talking to me? My camera's on.
I see him.
I can. Yep. Well, that's boomer stuff. So, guys, as everyone knows, we're gonna go over some headlines. We're gonna get some reactions from people. I'm gonna crack open this Alani. The market is also live right now, so we might do some trades in the middle of chit chatting. But this is a fun space, a safe space. Not a safe space, but it is a space. Do you got anything you want to say before we hop into it, Abe? Anything on your mind?
Not in particular.
Oh my
It's just been a
gosh.
boring market.
This is so good, actually. Cherry slush Alani. It's like new stuff at Costco. My wife got this instead of the C4, by the way.
Had the
Yeah,
strawberry one last week.
My wife sent me into the store one time to buy those, and I couldn't remember what they were called. So I walked up to the Walmart employee and I said, my wife sent me to get this energy drink, but I don't remember what it's called. But like, what's your gayest looking can that you have in the entire store? And he said, oh, Alani, is that what you're looking for? And I was like, yes, that is the one. Thank you. That's no joke. 100% that happened. He knew exactly what I was talking about.
All right. Well,
Going for women.
Yep. In the headlines today, we have Trump announcing Project Iron Collar. He'll be, which is saying that the U.S. will provide massive tax credits for companies deploying U.S. manufactured humanoid robots to replace outsourced labor. I think two things. I want to hear what you guys think, but I just want to say two things here. We're supposed to be bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. to provide more jobs. Now this looks like a complete pivot to say, looks like the only we're going to replace that foreign workers is by creating robot workers. And this headline was also shortly after this, he announced that they would be taking some outright investments in robotics companies like they have with Intel, MP, etc., the rare earth metal companies. But yeah, it looks like the government's all in on replacing people with robots. What do we think?
I don't know if it's my headset, but like it seems like you're kind of up on your mic a little too much, and sometimes you're staticking out. I don't know if it's just me.
No, he's speaking out. The mic's speaking out.
Well, Discord's not using the same mic as Discord is using the same mic. Oh, my bad. I'll be more aware. Okay. All right. Thanks for letting me know. Anyways.
Sure. No retakes.
No retakes.
No retakes. What was the question again? I was really just
How do we feel about outsourcing all the jobs we outsource to, replacing them with robots, and Trump giving a tax credit for it?
Yeah, it does seem kind of counterproductive as far as bringing industry back to the U.S. I mean, there's two different reasons to bring industry back to the U.S. Yes, we want to bring jobs back, but at the same time, we need industry in the U.S. So, like, it does accomplish one of those two things, even if it is going to incentivize robotics more than the job. So, like, good that it's happening in the sense that hopefully it does incentivize more industry coming back and ingenuity and technology being developed for that, but in the sense that it's ultimately not going to be helpful as creating jobs is helpful.
My first thought was, what if the jobs that robotics would be taking over are the jobs that Americans would no longer want to do? Like iPhone manufacturing, there's not probably going to be a line out the door for people to go do that. but maybe industry comes back in more of a form that robotics can't replace as quickly, like as far as like energy production goes, because that's going to be a huge demand with the oncome of robotics. We're still gonna need to keep increasing energy production.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I mean that's all makes sense to
Like,
me, right? You know, Jensen actually just on the energy side, Jensen just said basically that Trump saved AI and robotics because without the drill baby drill
yeah, from the Joe Rogan podcast.
yeah, so
Yeah,
I was surprised to hear it. I shouldn't say surprised, but I thought it was interesting that he made that comment. You know, with stuff like that, it's kind of hard to know how much are we just kissing ass so we get special treatment, and how much of it is truly bogged in or grounded in reality. But you know, that's just my inner skeptic, um, thinking that pretty much CEOs are pretty much like politicians.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this guy has an agenda coming on the Joe Rogan podcast, but
Yeah,
I, what it kind of it logically made sense. The statement did to me, but yeah, I think I don't know. I just wonder if the way that we view what is the industry, what we view as the industrial sector is like probably actively changing over the next 10 years. So
yeah, huge project. Iron Collar though is such a we got a golden dome. Now we're making an iron collar.
what is the iron collar? I'm not caught up on that.
Well, the iron collar is is the tax credit.
Okay.
Yeah, they're calling it uh, Project Iron Collar. It's basically robot stimulus. Like they want to push. You know, Biden did clean energy stimulus and tax credits. Trump's doing robotics. So I wonder if this will put the midterms at risk, but I really don't want to have that conversation. I'm getting kind of bored. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. How about the next one? Huh? We got the American birthright accounts, or as which is being called the child plan right now, was announced on December 3rd, which is allowing every child born in the U.S. to get a 5,000 tax-free investment account seeded by the Treasury. All right, and it's also allowing billionaires to get massive tax write-offs if they also make donations to the Treasury to put that money into these child accounts. So if you're a family who's not very well off, you know, because there's like 501b's, I believe, or maybe it's a 503b, but there's different investment accounts that you can give that grow tax divert or tax free with for children, so they can use it for their school expenses. This is similar to that, more like a Roth, a traditional Roth though, where they can kind of use it for whatever, but it's being going to be given to all the kids who don't have that, because right now I believe it's like 70% of all education plans are are for children whose families are already like in the upper 20% of the economy. So this will broaden that out. We'll teach these kids very early on the power of investing. It'll, you know, give them the benefit of basically the American dream. Because honestly, you're not really living the American dream if you're not getting benefits from, you know, our booming economy and these crazy tech companies. What do you guys think, though?
It's
I
great. I
I agree with what you're saying about well, you said it was geared towards lower income.
Yeah, I believe there's restrictions based on parents' income and whether the children will receive it. Because I don't think it's just blanketed for all kids. Um, but yeah, honestly, I think you go all in on this and you just get rid of Social Security, because
Yeah.
a nation that doesn't care about its children isn't a nation that I think is functioning properly. And so, you know, Trump pushing this and pushing this hard, it wasn't his idea. I'm not sure if he should get credit for it, but But the guy who came up with this plan actually said that he tried to get Biden to do it, and Biden wouldn't do it. He tried for 4 years, pushing hard on everyone in the Biden administration, and none of them would do it.
I
So,
like
So
the idea.
you could phase out um in one lifetime, you could phase out Social Security with a program like this. If you just passed a law that said people that were eligible for this program are no longer going to be eligible for Social Security. But what that's going to do, especially if you allow future contributions to it, um, from family members, from
that's
make it real easy. Make it
Even
real easy.
yourself, like if you're 16, have a job and you want to put more money into it.
That's what I mean. Make it real easy. And it's just something that, like, if I want to give my nephew a birthday present, I can also contribute $50 to his retirement account or whatever the
Hmm.
case may be. Like, and grandma
I
and
like that
grandpa
idea.
can do that. Anybody can. So like we all get money for our birthdays, and some kids get stocks for their birthdays, some kids get, you know, savings bonds, some kids get, but this would be something that would, I mean, if it's just tracking the US markets and then we allow the government's going to seed it with 5 grand, and then we allow contributions, there would be no need for Social Security. You're talking 50, 60 years of compounding interest on 5 grand alone is going to be multiple millions of dollars at like 8 to 10%.
way more than Social Security could ever give you. You'll make more on those dividends than you would ever make from Social Security.
Yeah.
This is what Social Security should have been from the get go. Like
And
this is so much better, infinitely better.
that's just the bare minimum. You could potentially eliminate the need for 401ks and just to have everybody be able to contribute directly to this particular account. It's their retirement account. And then, I can say, hey, I want 5% of my income, 10% of my income to go into this. Every time you get a job, bing bada boom, you're set for life.
Man,
Yeah,
you're
no, that'd be
so
really
right.
nice.
I didn't even think about it to the extent you did. You are so freaking right about that. This actually is an amazing idea.
Because like in my position, I start new at new facilities pretty frequently. So I have like 4 different 401ks open. I haven't merged together. But if I only had one, then it would eliminate the entire problem. You could work anywhere and still have a 401k. You don't have to worry about transferring. That would be so nice.
Or even most Americans, well, I don't know, I think it's like 48% of Americans don't even have a 401k at all.
Right.
And now they finally have something that grows, that keeps up with the market, it's and
I
when
was
everyone loses their jobs from AI and robotics,
right.
you got a
I was
guaranteed
watching
retirement plan while you try to figure out what the heck is going on.
I was watching a video last night about Jackson, Mississippi. It's the murder capital of the US. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, like, these kids, they have the public education system, but their parents probably didn't save up for them to go to college. But this would solve that. Maybe if you could borrow against it and then be able to withdraw it for something you want to use at like 26, whenever, like, kind of like the health insurance age is what I was thinking. By then, you could probably make good decisions with what you want to do with that money if you wanted to withdraw early, whether it's
Yeah.
buy a house or whatever.
Or a lot of them will gamble it away, be like, ah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it could even improve workplaces though, because if these kids, by the time think about it, if you're immediately given this when you're born, by the time you're 30, you're done with school, maybe you're starting to become a professional. You've got 30 years of compounding in that account already. So the likelihood that if you don't like your job, that you'll just quit and be like, I got a nest egg. I have an emergency fund now. If I don't like my job, if my benefits aren't good enough, if this company's ass, I'm just going to leave. That, um, holy cow, that's life changing. It's absolutely life changing when you know that you got enough in your account that if shit hits the fan or if you don't like where you're at, you have the ability to say no to your boss and say it doesn't matter if it
Hmm.
takes me 3 months to find another job. I don't need to put up with nonsense. Like, oh my god, it'll
No,
change behavior in a substantial way too.
no,
Um,
adds a new dimension of complexity to like how you're treated in the workforce.
yeah. It will also create massive distortions in the market because that's a massive amount of passive money being supplemented to the stock market. An absolute massive amount of money.
So just to give you an idea, at 8%, it's around $750,000. At 10%, it's $2.5 million. If you do
What time
nothing,
frame?
that's just when you're 65.
Okay.
Everyone
So
will be taken care of, man.
when you're 65, if you can get an average return of 10%, that's $2.5 million per citizen for retirement. I mean, it's not enough to retire and never work again, but it's definitely that's the bare minimum. That's like without having to pay into a program like Social Security for your entire life, you still end up with between $1 million and $1.5 million
I mean,
sitting there for you.
if you got 3 mil, you can easily make, what would that be?
Enough to
That would be like 80. You
dividend
could
and
probably make like 80,000 a year if you do a dividend drip strategy.
What
I mean,
about adjusted for inflation,
yeah.
though?
yeah, adjusted for inflation, you would probably need to supplement that, but it's still way better off
Better
than
than
what
what
we
we have
currently
now.
have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 60 years from now. It's 60 years from now. I don't know. If 60 years from now, who knows what happens, because if energy keeps getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, deflation might be a problem, more of a problem than
Mm.
inflation in the future. When you're talking about that kind of time frame, it's really hard to know what things look like. But yeah,
I'm just
this should have
thinking.
been
I'm
done.
just
This should have been
thinking.
done 200 years ago.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like the average person through Social Security and the average company through Social Security contributes how much over the course of a lifetime into Social Security. I don't know what that number is. If I had to guess, it's probably over 150K or 200K that they're contributing. So we can, by starting 20 years earlier, number one, or starting 20 years earlier and getting compounding interest for 20 years. We can also have the gifting of family members and loved ones. And instead of having 7.5% taken out for Social Security, you can contribute 5% to this from the age of 18. And you could be honestly looking at, just with a 5% contribution working for 40 years, you could be looking at probably close to between $3 and $5 million.
Yeah. Wow.
Safe to say. Um, I was thinking though, what do you think the odds are that Bitcoin is included? I mean, at least to some capacity via the ETF or maybe the physical. Well, not physical, but you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends on what the construction of the portfolios looks like. Hopefully, they don't do something like a 60-40. But since the treasury is running it, maybe they will be like, you can go to buy some bonds. Um, but who knows if we don't have a blow up soon, or if we get our debt under control, or if we have an explosion of growth that puts our debt under control. Maybe that meta of portfolio construction will come back and it'll be okay. But yeah, I would imagine, or for at least for the first 20 years, they probably won't, unless like MSTR doesn't get booted from the index, which it probably will. So but speaking of that deflation that we talked about, though, and what the future looks like, we also had an executive order signed last week. But since we missed a week of the podcast, some of these are going to be a week old. But um, Trump signed an executive order fast tracking permits for small modular reactors, SMRs. Uh, pretty much has caused a rally across nuclear, pretty broadly across the sector. Chemco's up, CEG's up, Oklo's up, SMR's up. Um, LEC U is getting a boost. I mean, just BWXT's up. So, what do we think about that? What this is finally kind of what this sector needed to actually play catch up because it is so far away still. But if you could fast track these small modular reactors, we can have them in the next 5 years instead of 10 years in a neighborhood near you.
I think they'll be happening even sooner than that.
Wow. Oh, he's bullish.
Well, I just think it's necessary. You've got all these companies that have realized that, hey, we have a problem with power in this country, and they're doing what capitalists do to solve that problem. And we have a capitalist in the White House that is willing to cut away all the red tape. And I think when you get those two things aligning and the desire for America to succeed, I think it'll be a net huge positive. And you'll probably have even excess energy being fed back into the grid in ways that were unanticipated, because these companies are going to want to stay ahead of their needs.
Steve, you have
The
thoughts?
reform, yeah, the reform has been necessary to rescind all the red tape. But I've been thinking lately, is solar going to be competitive enough with it though, or natural gas? Because I feel like those energy sources are going to be way cheaper to establish compared to SMRs even.
Probably. The thing with nuclear is once it's up and running, you don't really do anything with it. So,
Right.
uh, in the long run, nuclear probably wins all.
Yeah, in
You,
the super long run, yeah.
yeah. So, um, but who even knows if it's going to be super long? Because there's still a lot of innovations when it comes to fuel, sourcing the fuel, and underfeeding keeps getting better. So even after you can like get more out of the depleted uranium or not have to use as much, and that's even with like the older nuclear facilities, the newer ones that like Oklo is trying to build. Um, Pretty much every big nuclear company is working on different forms of tech to be more efficient, but not just Oklo, even though they get a lot of credit. Even Rolls Royce is working on some pretty cool projects right now. But all of those um, could rapidly improve the rate of return over the longer time frame. But yeah, I think. Well, first of all, where solar is right now, I think solar is just a good opportunity. Anyways, I'm kind of just waiting for the chart to give a little bit of confirmation here because it is kind of beaten down. Um, I mean, honestly, it doesn't look terrible here with a really tight stop. Um, to try and give it a shot with some option calls into next year because I think it's even just tan I think is underpriced right here. Um, and then natural gas will probably be interesting into next year as well. But yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
you. I think there'll be big players, but I think nuclear is definitely the most exciting because it is such a superior source of energy.
Well, it just, I feel like it resorts back to the 10-year uranium bull run fundamentals that we've been talking about forever.
I know for years, right?
Yeah,
Of
and
course, this
and
headline drops when I don't really have much on for my nuclear positions.
so,
I am
but yeah,
looking at you like LEU. Like when we're done with this podcast, I might buy a position in that with a real tight stop and see if it's got a really nice rounded bottom here. Um, got a little extended after that headline, but now it's had a nice pullback today. And I think I might. I think it's a good spot to take a shot at, take a stab at it in the long term. I'll probably do that after we're done recording.
yeah.
Um, what are we? The next headline is gonna be wild. Okay, are we ready to move on? Talus, you got anything? Trey?
Uh, we are going to be going live with the live account on Monday, so that's going to be fun.
Oh
And
yeah,
having that going to be run on its own and
we'll save
leave
that.
it at
We'll say
that.
we won't talk about that. We'll save that. We'll do a separate video for that one. So, because people that's watching this podcast are gonna know about our AI
Right.
projects. So we'll do a whole separate video for that. But you and get caught up on my words. Got to clear out the bad juju. Okay, next headline though. Starlink IPO. Musk said he's prepping to do the Starlink IPO Q1 2026. Will this be the next $1 trillion company?
This is so I have a coworker who lives in an RV and they use Starlink for their Wi-Fi and they have like a whole setup. They have like a server in there, multiple gaming PCs. But they said anytime it gets cloudy, they lose internet.
Oh wait, for
or it goes
real?
the speeds go way down. So, because I've also considered purchasing like one of those mobile Starlinks because I think it'd be sick to bring camping. But yeah, if the weather gets inclement, it's gonna severely degrade your your results, or your speeds. Either way, it's I think global. The market is global for Starlink, you know. So I would be extremely. I think it would still hit $1 trillion. Considering all the air traffic, sea traffic, and countries that just don't have established in what's the word industry what's the word I'm looking for
Infrastructure.
infrastructure for internet. Like this just overpasses all that instantly. So
Don't forget, if Elon was going to make a phone, it might be through this company rather than through X.
yeah,
Yeah.
Starlink cell phone. Yeah.
Abe, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the broader world market is probably where Starlink is going to have the most success. It's kind of the same thing that just saying. Really, this is gonna, if it goes out on mass scale and it's offered all across the world, I mean, it's basically bringing connectivity to everyone in the world wherever you are, at, which is something that just doesn't exist. I mean, it kind of does, like even in remote parts of some really third world countries that I've been in, I've still been able to get some type of connectivity, but not like infrastructure level. It's more like just a cell tower out there that you can kind of ping off type deal. But this would change the whole game.
Well, and you would have one account to get worldwide internet access. Like that in and of itself is just a ridiculous statement.
And it's also mobile, isn't it? So it's like if you move, you just take it with you. If
Yeah,
you want to go
you
on a
can mount.
trip, you can take it with you.
Yeah, you can mount it on top of your vehicle, or and then like they also sell different dishes for sea travel, which I'm sure they already have satellite. They've been using satellite communications, but I think Starlink obviously is the most. They're the
There's no
biggest
one
moat.
close. There's no
Yeah,
one
they're the
close.
biggest moat for sure.
Yeah. I was looking at like different expectations, and it seems like a lot of people value it right now at between like 80 and 100 billion. So it probably goes to 300 billion on an actual IPO. So
But
3x from there puts it at $1 trillion. That's not too crazy, honestly. Then Elon would be in charge of $2 trillion companies, which is pretty freaking crazy. He'd be twice as rich as the richest man if he IPO'd that company.
but is it gonna pull like a Tesla announcement and take several more years to IPO? That's my next question.
The headline, the Wall Street Journal said that he has begun the preparation. So if that's true, then a Q1, you know, which would be, March to like June of next year, that seems very reasonable time frame, if true. And I think it makes sense for him to do that too. I think what probably pushes it to $1 trillion is, all these big AI guys are talking about putting data centers in space and powering them with solar panels since they'll never not have light.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know enough to know if that's actually just completely stupid, considering that there's like debris in space. But I don't know. There's tons of satellites in space. How often do they get taken out? I'm not even sure. But maybe it's a great idea. I just don't know. But that's what a lot of these guys think is coming in the future, is like take the data centers off the planet, throw them in space, attach solar panels to them, and
Wasn't Bezos saying that?
Bezos is saying it, but I think Jensen even mentioned it, and Sam Altman's been talking about it. When he's not, being weird, he's mentioned it a few times.
I mean, I'm not. I'm not an expert on the topic of how the power consumption of AI is disrupting the the rest of what's left over for the for us. Because I've heard that it's messing up some people's power grids. So that would totally eliminate that problem, and it's only going to become more extreme. Now, nuclear could probably solve that too, but this it's still more consistent to throw it out in space where no one can touch it except for a meteorite or some act of God.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
But what
Yeah.
about extraterrestrial life? What if we have all of our
Mm.
data set in space and then we get visited? They can completely turn everything off.
Like, hey, we're going to take these. We'll see you guys.
Thanks for leaving these out here for us.
Well, I don't know. Because the only thing that makes me think that everything that we've been wirelessly broadcasting has been going out into space since it ever started. So they would know it's coming.
Might be a military issue then too, because what if someone wanted to they wanted to take your grid out, and the grid was just floating in space? It's got to be harder to defend than
Yeah,
than
we have
if it's
we have the Space
Yeah,
Force
you could
now, so
literally,
yeah.
you could
That's right. We
literally,
got the Space Force. Okay,
yeah,
Steve
yeah,
we're
Carell is
good.
on the job.
I believe you could target these. I mean, it's against the law. Like you're not allowed to send missiles into space, but I believe you could target these from with like an intercontinental ballistic missile. Because
Oh,
once it gets
totally.
out of the atmosphere,
Yeah,
you could just, yeah. So that's probably not a great idea.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
but
think
who
legalities
knows?
go out the window when there's war too.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I mean. It is illegal, but like if we do get into a conflict with somebody, all they got to do is target all of our data
satellites.
centers in the
Yeah,
sky. That seems like a bad idea. I'm sorry. Call me a skeptic. Like, let's
uh,
not put them in the sky.
satellite defense interplanetary missile system. Yeah, I'm sure that's coming soon.
so the this one's probably just going to be for Abe, because I don't even have many comments. And Abe, maybe you've noticed this. I haven't noticed it yet. But you deal with more margin than I do. I don't. I almost never touch margin. But two headlines that happened over the last 2 weeks that we haven't talked about. The SEC is doing a probing of 0DTE wash trading. The SEC has announced that there are uh, large amounts of offshore accounts using 0DTEs to manipulate the closing prices of stocks and the broader market through wash trading. So they're manipulating the prices there. And then at the same time, there was the T1 settlement glitch, along with the shutdown of the CBOE, where futures went down, everything went down. They said they had a cooling issue. both of those happened, but only the second one got attention. The settlement glitch did not really get much attention. And since that has occurred, brokerages widely have actually been rising margin requirements for retail traders.
I haven't noticed a difference in either futures or equities, but I don't trade a lot of the equity indexes. I usually will use the futures products for those. So I don't think with equity 0 days or the case, then I wouldn't notice it because I don't usually trade a lot. I I did hear
You're like
about
cutting out every other word. I feel like I'm watching a Japanese movie
oh,
right now where your mouth is
all right.
moving, but nothing's going on.
Hold on. Here. Now my AirPod is
Okay.
screwed up. Is that better? I know. I'm just saying. I haven't noticed it. I did. I was tracking that it happened, and there's a bunch of conspiracy theories around whether it was legit or it was manipulation or what's going on. I just think the markets are too liquid at this point to really be manipulated in any kind of way. Uh, that's really significant.
Well, I
They're
mean,
too liquid, too vast.
it would. I think if you okay, you probably can't change the closing price of the SPY index with zero DTEs. But could you change the closing price of Walmart into the close using zero DTEs? And you just wanted to change the closing price? So
Walmart doesn't
you would
have
just
zero DTEs.
if it was on a Friday, then it's a zero DTE, right? So
Well, I mean, that's just called the market.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. They said it's multiple offshore accounts, so maybe I'm even not setting the parameters there. Maybe they really are trying to change it. But I mean, you don't need probably as much capital as you think is what I'm trying to say when you're doing a zero TTE, because if you load up a ton of those options and the market maker the dealer fills you, then the market maker has to go through and they gotta buy up you know, shares. Like if you load up calls, they got to buy up shares um, to hedge that, and that can move price without much capital because of how many shares they have to buy to offset that new position that you just opened. So I don't know. I don't think it's impossible that it's happened. How significant isn't really? I don't know. It's just a probe. It's not like it doesn't it
I'm not
doesn't it
skeptical.
doesn't
I think the
it doesn't
market's
feel like it's a certainty that it's happening, but it also doesn't feel like one of their bullshit probes where they probe something and you hear about it and you're like, that's just them being idiots again.
I just think the markets are more efficient than people give them credit for.
That's fair. I think I actually think that's less fair than normal because I think passive flows and even with do you think the market's going to be as efficient when every single kid has an investment account that's just buying the market? Like, because it's just going to broadly buy everything.
I mean, we
I
already
mean,
we already do that.
we already do that, but if you accelerate it,
401ks.
if you accelerate that even more, those accounts don't pick winners and losers; they just buy everything. So that's like passive investing is what makes active trading so profitable because it creates those distortions, and then the market has to adjust. So, um, I just hope that doesn't reach some point where it's like it doesn't work because things just go up because everyone gives up on active and they all just buy. But that's probably not a reasonable thesis.
Oh, I'm glad
Hello,
that
hello
buy.
to DSP. DSP, we're recording our podcast here. I think we'll move on to the next headline. Sound good, Abe? To get
Sure.
more people on board with the conversation. You got anything else you wanted to add?
No, no.
Um, uh, I don't know. Coinbase launched a debit card that draws directly from DeFi yields last week. Currently, all the big banks are lobbying to kill it, saying that it's unregulated banking and illegal. Um, Same time that happened, uh, UAE is pumping crypto AI tokens, FET and TAO,
Really?
buying them for their national reserve.
I used to hold FET for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't looked at them recently, but it's a AI agent token, and I just wasn't sure there was like a real use case for it. But
Headline says that they ripped 40% a week after. Oh, it is a rumor. It's not. It's not.
okay,
It's not verified. Um.
but TAO, that's the um rendering token, right?
Yes.
I think they, yeah, I don't know. DSB, do you know? He's muted, but
I don't know too much about FET, but that Coinbase DeFi card, that's quite interesting because that's my exact field of expertise at crypto KYC. And so the other banks are saying that's not regulated. There's ways to regulate it. So if Coinbase is getting ahead of the curve with that, they are kind of setting like a new industry standard. That's pretty interesting. But the question is like DeFi, right? From a regulatory standpoint, that means there's a smart contract, and if they own it, then like what is it, right? Like what DeFi are they talking about? Because some of it, like Tornado Cash is sanctioned, but others are okay. So I just wonder what they're using exactly, and are they basic? Could they be reallocating income to just pump their DeFi contract? There's a lot of questions in there, and if they're not transparent, then I don't trust it. But there's ways to do it. So I think it's worth watching if you're interested in that sort of thing.
That's pretty cool. Okay. I like that. That was interesting to know. Abe, I see you brushing your mustache. You got any comments? Anything? No? Hmm? All right, next one. China's
oh,
dry. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I was gonna say I just looked at the chart for TAO BitTensor. It looks like it's at a pretty good level to start buying if you were interested in it.
Okay.
But anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. China's rare earth blacklist has grown. On December 1st, they started restricting exports of gallium and uranium to U.S. defense contractors. I'm really surprised that's not getting a bigger move out of MP because I think those are actually two that they actually cover. But yeah, I mean the rare earth metal, they're not stopping. Like this is probably one of the best fundamental trades right now is along these rare earth metals, and I think commodities in 2026 too is just going to be freaking giga massive. Does anyone disagree with that? I mean, would anyone it's like the
No,
most obvious thing, right? Like you can't keep letting this happen and get us cut off on our rare earth metals. Say goodbye to the because that's you lose the AI race if you let this continue. You lose the robotic race if you let this continue. It it it
it goes hand in hand with the nuclear.
yeah, it goes hand in hand. I
Yeah,
mean, it goes hand in hand with literally everything. It's so essential. Like,
yeah, of the whole
yeah,
technology war
you
going
could
on.
you
Yeah,
could play every major narrative in the market just by making sure you keep exposure to the rare earth metals. I mean, that it doesn't get more bullish than that. Like yeah, it's
the EV
crazy.
market.
I
Yeah,
actually think there's a misallocation of money in the market right now with how much money is pouring into these AI companies and capital isn't been given to the actual essential parts of the market of the economy, which is the rare earth companies that keep the other parts of the economy flowing. Um, so I would actually prefer, some sort of like brutal rug on tech stocks and see that money pour into rare metals and energy, because I think there's like actually massive distortions. That's my opinion.
Yeah, the uranium miners and MP
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, I mean, what Oklahoma hit like $30 billion, and CCJ was like half of that at one point. I mean, that's insane. What is Oklahoma gonna run on? They're just gonna use alchemy to turn oxygen into uranium. Like, where are they gonna get it from? You got to give money to the uranium companies, or they're not gonna be able to get uranium, guys. Like, what are we doing? Like, what? It's so when you see stuff like that, okay, the market's being pretty stupid right now, and
Mispriced.
this will eventually fix itself.
Are they going to be doing those reactors everyone's going to be running that Jensen Huang was talking about on JRE, saying that like in a few years, I think he said like 5-10 years, everyone's going to have their own little nuclear reactor or something like that. So,
I didn't
you're
catch
going to
that
have
part.
your own. You're
Yeah.
going to have your own little reactor to, powering your kitchen.
You remember when those? I don't know if you guys were paying attention to this, but there was that kid who made that fake company called the Egg, and he was
I
like,
think I remember that.
yeah,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
micro reactor.
Hmm.
Everyone had their own reactor in their house called the Egg. And I think he said it serves as a space heater for your children as well.
Oh, that's
And so many people thought it was real. Gosh, the internet is undefeated.
multifunctional. Yeah.
Undefeated. Um, we have Apple leaked its Vision Air, which is a cheaper headset for about $1,500. That's supposed to be coming out next spring. And the stock did not move at all. Market doesn't seem to give a single shit about it. What do we think? I think that was their most returned product ever, the first time they did the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And the
Sounds
the
right.
fact that they're even trying again is like kind of mind blowing.
This
But
isn't in our headline stack, but let me ask, what do you guys think about Tim Cook retiring? And if you're not aware, Apple's current head of product development is going to become the new CEO.
Who is
didn't
that?
know about
That's the
that.
question. So the person coming up with the Vision Pro is going to be the new CEO.
Yeah. John Turnus.
Hmm.
yeah, when you put it that way, Apple needs
There's not even a picture of him on his Wikipedia, so who knows? He went to
yeah,
University of Pennsylvania, so that's expected, I suppose. But I don't know. Tim Cook was really good at his job, at least for the first 90% of it. So I'm sure how are you going to beat Tim Cook? I mean, he was handpicked by Steve Jobs. Like, if he's leaving, then I'm not sure how that bodes well.
I feel like, yeah, I agree with that.
Apple
At
needs
the
a
same
spark of
at the
innovation.
same at the same time, I feel like Tim Cook has just gotten too boring and is just way too risk adverse. He's like the nerd, you know. Jobs did all the innovation, created this beautiful thing, and Cook just managed it. And I think Apple at 2% year over year growth. I think it's time to get someone here who's gonna they've got billions of dollars to try some new ideas out with. Man, I think it's what it's time for. It's time to stop keeping your stock up, but with buybacks, and actually keep your stock up with real innovation. Because right now the narrative is like, oh, it's a good thing Apple's not innovative or spending any money because everyone's overspending AI, and that's bad. That's real bad. To not create new value in the market, that's bad. I think that's such a. I think that's such a. I think the nihilism in that take is not real wisdom. How about that? That's the nicest way I can say what I want to say.
Going back to the device, the Apple Vision Air. I mean, I wasn't. I'm not surprised they're launching with it. As soon as I think it was either Marcus Brownlee or Linus Tech Tips, they were like, they said forever ago that they were going to be dropping a more simplified version of this product because one, the original was way too expensive and there had no support for by third-party developers when it initially launched. And so now for coming to like an iPhone Pro to the iPhone Air, doing the same thing, not shocked. And I feel like they kind of needed to because Meta has such a hold on the VR space right now. They're trying to just compete with that, but I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I haven't
Really
used
did you
looking
one
see?
ever.
forward to the
Did you?
next
Did you?
meta.
Did any of you guys? I don't know. I might be the only like.
Did you watch that? Like their act, like the VR or the glasses that they just did
Oh, the
that
Meta glasses, yeah,
showcase. Oh
yeah,
my
with
god,
Ray
it was
Ban.
terrible. It was not that great. I'm gonna be
Hmm.
honest with you. It was a very poor showcase.
Well, I
I heard the
mean, oh, go ahead.
sorry. Oh
I
no, I
think
heard
that's
the
why they're
product
like
itself was
80.
okay.
Well, I actually heard different because like the product now is like selling for like 80% off than it was
Wow.
like a month ago, 2 months ago.
Hmm.
It's just too awkward. If you walk in with those on, and there's gonna in the back of my head be like, "Are you recording me right now, asshole?"
I mean,
Yeah.
not even
Dude,
just
there's
that.
this one video of a guy who's like buying like a Rolex or something, and he's wearing those glasses, and he's like a Rolex buyer, like he's got the money, and he's at the watch store, and they go, "Listen, you can't wear those glasses," and he goes, "Well, you know, I need them to see," and they go, "Well, you can't wear them if you're recording," and so they kick him out, and they lose the sale. But yeah, that they're immediately like, "What are you doing with those? Why do you need those?" They're sus, but
I thought they
the
were supposed to
thing.
be designed to not even tell that you're doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I like about them though is when they released them, they were way cheaper than the Vision Pro. Like,
Yeah.
so it wasn't
And the
like, oh,
only
this
thing,
is, you know, so expensive. It's got to be awesome. It was like, all right, if they're
and
okay, then that's good. But so
I
like
don't
they
know who
didn't set
said
the
it,
bar too high.
but
Well,
they are right about the VR market. The only thing that even came close to that was Google's Glass, that was like 2010 or earlier.
Yeah, dude, actually, that's funny you said that because those people thought those died, but they actually took off in like some logistics
Yeah.
because like you could like look at like in like a warehouse you could look at like a box and it would tell you where it needs to go, and apparently that like killed a ton of jobs that you need way fewer people in like some warehouse situation. So
Yeah.
maybe that's the you know silver lining for these
Even
tech.
the software, like I mean, even like if you go read the reviews on the Meta glasses, they're not great. Users have all sorts of difficulty. Even just, I mean, but it's just basic user errors. You know what I mean? It sounds like to me, it's
Weren't
nothing
they
like.
broken when Zuckerberg tried to like reveal
Oh
them?
man,
They didn't
he,
work.
didn't he ask
they're
everybody to
having
get off?
they're having like a Wi-Fi issue. Yeah,
Yeah, he asked everybody to get off the Wi-Fi. I'm pretty sure,
yeah.
and everybody wasn't like, "All right, wait, are you serious?" And
He's
it
like,
was
I'm
like, "Yeah,
lagging.
he's like, no, actually, everybody get off the fucking Wi-Fi."
He's like, listen, I'm lagging, guys. Turn your Wi-Fi off.
Yeah,
Has anybody ever used any of them?
I have not.
No,
No.
but I mean, I can only imagine that they put the same AI, the Facebook Meta version of AI, LLM or whatever they have into their
Llama.
glasses. Yeah.
Um, on what I think people aren't talking about, which was interesting, and I don't know, I might be I think some of you are kind of gamers, but Steam put out a new product line which caught everyone off guard because it's seems actually pretty innovative as far as the gaming world goes. But they came out with a new Steam Deck, which is like their portable gaming console. Um, They made new controllers, which are supposed to be better than all the other controllers.
And they're making a console.
Right?
Yeah.
They have the Steam machine, which is literally like this cube console that can play PC games. You could use it as a computer or just as an Xbox or PS5. And they also have their own VR goggles now that are supposed to be competitive with Oculus, which I thought was pretty interesting.
No, I mean,
See, Apple should just buy Steam and they'll save them right there. There you go.
I mean, honestly, that wouldn't be a bad idea because Microsoft right now pretty much already holds a nice, good grip on that because Xbox and all that stuff is built into everybody's PC now. You can just type in Xbox and all your games, everything is synced up. And then you also have Steam as another launcher. Whoever teams up with Steam,
I
Apple
don't
or
think Steam would
Microsoft,
do it.
I don't think Steam would do it either, but
Oh yeah, Steam's actually owned by Valve, so I doubt Valve would sell them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think Steam is more into like the Linux approach.
yeah.
I think that's what they're built. That's what Steam OS runs off of.
No, it does. Yeah, that entire new PC that they came out with is entirely
Mhm.
Linux based, which I think is pretty cool because people can actually, if it's Linux based, this thing is going to be so moddable. So people are going to do some crazy ass stuff with these.
Well, and it kind of it's doing what Microsoft should have done, which was they should have made the Xbox into like a PC. Like that's what the end goal I think should have been for Xbox. But I think that problem that's not a problem for the
Especially,
Steam
like,
machine.
you know, they already did it now with the our PCs. Like I said, you know, all that's
exactly.
already integrated.
Right.
Steam. I'm reading here. Analysts think Steam makes 16.2 billion in yearly sales.
Oh yeah.
That's 16 times higher than I thought. That's actually crazy.
They are gaming. It's like if they just slowly crept over time, and now it's like
Yeah. Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, they're up there now.
Did we talk about Meta's recent announcement and their rally on the recent announcement that they're reducing their investment into the MetaQuest by like 30%?
I wonder why.
Wait,
That just happened.
Say that
That was
again.
yesterday.
What?
Meta came out and announced that they're reducing their
Metaverse
metaverse investment by 30%.
Market really liked that news a lot.
Yeah,
it's been
everything
rallying
metaverse for
ever
them
since.
has just been a
We're
disaster.
talking about
Well,
all these different products that they're building for the quote unquote metaverse, and
Dude, the metaverse, the metaverse was the perfect opportunity for Snap to go to like $300, and prove that AR is going to be bigger than VR sooner, and they completely just fumbled the ball in every single way humanly possible. It's the worst tech CEO ever, honestly. I think Steve Evan is it's this stock has just been in the dirt pretty much since its IPO, and it trades at a massive discount to other participants because he is so just unfathomably incompetent.
I was reading about him, and
unfathomably
he's just
incompetent.
like people just say he's a giant asshole, and like it has to be the way he wants it. And it's like he's trying to be Steve Jobs, but he ain't no Steve Jobs.
No, but
He
if
sucks.
Snapchat could have embraced NFTs, it would have been a massive game changer.
NFTs, localized NFTs with Snap Mats.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, NFT art ability stuff, and then make the NFT marketplace. Do you know how much money you guys would have freaking made? Idiots.
Well, it wasn't what Evan wanted, It's got to be what he wants.
Because Evan's and he owns a majority share, so no one could kick him out, and that sucks. God, that guy sucks so much. Anyways, this company could be so cool, it could be worth a fortune, but he is just hell bent on making sure they do not succeed.
mean, besides the Steam and the Oculus and everything, like, I mean, that's really it when it comes to the virtual reality realm. If you were trying to do anything with that, that's the direction you got to go on the, you know, residential side. I don't know anything about the commercial. I don't know about commercial side.
Well, the
This
commercial
reminds
side,
me.
the commercial side for VR is miners no longer having to go in the mines. They wear a
Yeah.
VR headset and they control the robot. So like
Uh,
the idea,
Minecraft.
yeah, they Minecraft
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I thought you meant like
And
miners, like kids for a second.
I
I-
think already for a lot
I
of
was about to
dangerous
play it out.
jobs, it's already a thing, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This-
I mean,
And
from
they use
my
them. They use them
experience,
for training too. Also, by the way, so for
I don't know about the medical field. I would imagine I haven't seen anything in the medical field.
I don't think that's been integrated
Well,
very well. I mean,
Or you've been
there's
using
robotics.
There's a
yeah,
robot.
there's
Maybe like training, like VR models and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That'd
Well,
be cool.
there is a actually. I don't know if you guys know this. This is a headline that we. It's kind of old, but it's still really interesting. But there was a robotics company that got sued. They're not public. They got sued when people realized that they were lying about how autonomous the robots are. Because everyone was trying to figure out how did they solve all the dexterity issues with the robots. So the robots can like put away dishes, they can fold laundry, they have like perfect hand movement. And then they figured out that there's a guy in India with a full suit on controlling your robot, and they like take shifts and swap out.
yeah.
Who
Was it
controls
Neo?
it?
I remember
And so
that.
yeah, Neo, yeah. And so, but it does show that you could solve a lot of those dexterity issues if you put on those like gloves to control the robot.
Right.
So you could take
I mean-
you could take the robot, put it in the factory.
Let me ask though,
And then
is
you
that
get the
really
fun.
a bad idea?
What?
Is that really such a bad idea to have like a company? Hey, we're your 24-hour people. We run this on autopilot mode, but anytime it's like stuck or X, Y, and Z needs extra assistance, we log in.
I think it was not being as open about it as they should have been because people
Right.
were like walking around naked with.
Oh,
Yeah, like what if it's your like, oh, they're folding your clothes and now it's your wife's underwear? Like, what about that?
Yeah, well, because they could see through the robot. They see what the robot sees, and so people are like, "What the? That thing was sitting in the room while we were."
yeah, no, I get it, but
There's
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's just like equally as many upsides as downsides. Like imagine like a robot like that as a caretaker for elderly people would be
Right.
insanely useful. Because like
oh man,
I think the idea behind it was there are some tasks that are too complicated for the AI to properly do. So a person can log in, like record the fine motor
Gotcha.
mechanics that go into certain activities, and then the robot can replicate that without human interaction in the future. But that comes at a risk of being a massive security issue. So, yeah.
sounds cool to me. Like for me being an IT guy, sounds something like cool to me. I mean, I can definitely see the use for it in like the commercial sense. I can imagine having a bunch of like clocking into work from your house, but into a robot at a warehouse.
Yeah. I wanted to say
That's gonna be
about
the future.
the VR thing though. I think Elon said on the Joe Rogan podcast that like the end goal is that we will be fed AI generated content. So I wonder if VR in the future is really going to be transitioned more into streaming AI generated content as opposed to like rendering it.
Oh man, with the AI generated content, it's so saturated the entire internet and everything, and media is so even like
Well,
the regular commercials that you see for like food and everything else, that they're using AI now for all that shit now too. It's just so disgusting.
Dude, even this, I used to go to this like Hungarian church and they do this, it's like, they're all like 80 years old and they do this like baked cabbage sale. And I got the email for it this year. They have freaking AI Santa picture. Even even these geriatric church people are using it. Everyone is using it.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly the time to get into it.
All right, I think we should move on. One final headline to end on, guys. American Eagle had their earnings, and it was probably one of the most anticipated earnings as far as retail stocks go, given the oh shoot, what's her face?
Sydney
Yeah.
Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney controversy over her good genes. And people, big social media personalities like Chris Camillo were saying they were short the stock because of the social media outrage. I do want to go on. I do want to give myself a pat in the back because I did argue with him a ton over that, saying it was the stupidest thesis I ever heard. And sure enough, American Eagle has absolutely blown out earnings, stock up 40%, over, leading up to the earnings reports and after the earnings report. Yeah, up 40%. And about 2 weeks, past 2 weeks. Absolutely crushed it above and beyond expectations. What do we think? Boob
That
salad.
I think
America,
this has been
America did it
overplayed,
right.
but like go woke, go broke, and I think we're really seeing this return to like people. It's like, all right, at the end of the day, like, she's a hot model, right? Just plain and simple, right? There's no like uh token points with her, right? She's not like disabled or like some strange ethnicity or something. She's just, all right, hot American woman. They put her on the thing and people are like, yeah, I want to wear those pants too. I think it's as simple as that. I mean, the controversy just, it brings attention to it, but it's like, yeah, we're just going to use a hot model to model our clothes. And wow, look, it's who could have thought that would make people want it? It's like,
Well,
do people forget like do people forget how this things are like been working for most of time? That's what's
I think
so funny.
the kind of person who complains about that advertisement and says that it's about eugenics is
They don't
not
really
as
fit into those pants anyway.
I don't think that that's the kind of person who shops at American Eagle. I think the kind of person who shops at American Eagle sees those kind of people get mad about that advertisement and says, "Oh, I'm going to go buy some American Eagle."
Well, I think that they did it right, to be honest with you, as a company, just like every other major celebrity, sometimes bad publicity is good publicity. Any publicity is good publicity at that point. I mean, who was talking about American Eagle before this?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So American Eagle did it right by, they played the field, and they played it right.
Yeah. Yep.
And their earnings and everything prove it.
And an absolute crowd shocker. Do we have any other comments on the stock market, guys? Did we talk about Netflix at all? I guess I said that was last one, but how much time we're at? We're at our 8 minutes. We could cover this one because it was pretty big news. Netflix is actually there's two we didn't cover. Okay, maybe we'll pick. Which one do we want to do first? We talk about Netflix first, or we talk about Disney first?
Let's do Netflix.
So Netflix right now is attempting to buy Warner Bros, which I believe. Let me actually.
Wait, doesn't that include the DC universe?
Hold
up, I'm looking it up.
Yeah, so Warner Bros includes HBO, DC, Harry Potter.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
They can do a lot with that. They'll own Batman?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's pretty huge deal. I think them owning HBO is pretty wild, but Netflix sold off really heavily. Actually today I see they actually hit my short target. So I think here, I don't think you can short it anymore here.
When's this deal expected to take place.
Well, that's the thing. There might be some regulatory issues. Netflix kind of got ahead of it. I saw that they put out a bunch of materials on why it isn't a monopoly issue, and I actually think they're probably right. I think there's enough competition in the space that they're probably fine, because they aren't even the biggest player in streaming. Now, will regulators actually properly identify YouTube as a streamer and competitor who's much, much bigger? I don't know. But yeah, I think this is actually going to, I think they hike up. I think it's going to give them room to hike prices again. If they get this, though, it'll probably be a
Yeah.
yeah, because getting HBO gives them Game of Thrones
Well, you know that
and
like
House of the Dragon.
their new Stranger Things season is like coming out as we speak, so it's all the hype's around Netflix right now.
Yeah, well, the stock's been selling off. I mean, the stock's down since June. The stock is down 27% right now.
Jeez,
Yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
Well, what is their market cap like, and what's their earnings like?
424 425 billion market cap. 38 billion in revenue.
Okay, so they're trading at 10 times their revenue, and I can just watch YouTube for free. So that's my response to that.
Well, not everything on YouTube is free. Like they do the show, you can buy a whole like series of shows on there and movies and stuff,
That's
just
true.
like
Yeah, so
Netflix.
you can buy it on YouTube, but it's dude, come on. What the Netflix, they stream content. Like what's the next largest like company as far as just
Well,
streaming like
well, I know
content
that like
goes?
the people that watch Netflix, like they're pretty much like, hey, they're watching only the shows that you can only watch on Netflix because like Stranger Things, that's only a Netflix thing. And if they own DC and they own Batman, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be big.
I think AI will change the landscape for YouTube, because once you give, I think the most creative people in the world are on YouTube and not working for Netflix. And if AI video gets good enough that these people can create shows that look as good as like an HBO show, I think huge game changer, even if they're only like 15-minute episodes or 20-minute episodes, if you give those people the ability to not have to pay actors or artists to do like animated series, and they just with AI prompts, I think you got to watch out, Netflix, because Netflix will have their actors and writers, and they'll have to deal with different guilds and stuff. And the independents on YouTube won't have any of that, and they'll just pump out content like crazy. And it will probably be higher quality too. So I think there's a huge risk with streaming companies in that. And I think, there'll be a bunch of lawsuits and stuff over it, probably because, just for a plethora of reasons.
Well, everybody hates AI. I will say, like when it comes to like AI art and videos and anything dealing with that, like the negative impact that, for instance, the new Black Ops got because they used AI on almost every single
Yeah,
bit
but
of their.
okay, when people get upset about AI, it's because it's disingenuous and it's poorly done, But
Yeah.
like, but I don't know, if you go on Sora, the new Sora app, it's all AI. And, the dog rings the grandma's doorbell and then breathes fire. Like,
yeah, I mean, when you're expecting
that's,
yeah,
when you're expecting it, it's going to be something wild. Or the chiropractic videos where the guy like
right.
throws the grandma into the wall. Like,
Or like the
Slight
Sasquatch
adjustment.
videos,
the
I like
Sasquatch, yes, yeah.
yeah.
Like,
So when you're
people
expecting
love
it,
those. Yeah, if you're
yeah,
open and honest, people like it. So I think that's why it'll work for YouTube, because yeah, man, it's because it's just. I think without a doubt that's the future. That's what's coming, and it's going to be
How much
absolutely
money do you think
massive.
that Sasquatch guy made just from prompting?
Oh, that guy's a millionaire, probably.
That's awesome. And they're funny as
Probably.
I
hell too.
said I was gonna.
I'm
I,
geeked
s-
out in the woods. Those
I said I was
videos.
gonna get long Netflix if it got down to this $100 level. So I just sold some puts in Netflix. I also sold some puts in Disney. I like both
Yeah.
of them.
Let's talk about the Disney headline now then. Disney's headline, the major Disney activist that ended up pushing out Bob Iger, who's kind of like the iconic Disney CEO. He was pushed out. New CEO came in, sucked. They kicked him out and brought Iger back. Now Iger's under pressure again from the same activists who pushed him out the first time, kind of
Tiger's got to go.
fighting for his job.
He should just go.
Yeah, and that activist is also pushing for them to sell off ESPN, saying that ESPN's a money pit and a waste of time.
Tiger's got to go. They need a new head of. I don't know if this is even a position there, but they need a new head of content, and they need a new, renewed connection with the American people, their customer base. And that company will go from being a couple $100 billion company. I don't even know what it is today. If I had to guess, probably like 200 billion to $800 billion company. If they just do those simple things.
Disney? Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, this stock's been really just unable to get over 124. It's been a huge wall of resistance. If you can break out over that, I'd even be willing to just set alert here and just not really pay attention to it until it hits that. But
This is one of those ones. Sorry, this is one of those ones that is like the writing is on the wall. Eventually, it's going to happen. I think this is like a long-term investment play there, where you just buy some Disney here, if you don't mind holding it for a long time, because I think this thing is way undervalued for good reason right now, because they need to make some changes. But once they do, I think this thing's got tons of upside.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't mind if they just continued to suck. If Iger stayed in, they continue to ruin all the IP they
Yeah.
bought. And then
What changes were you
Angel
thinking?
Studio steps in as the new Disney and does really well because everyone cancels their Disney and gets Angel Studios. I think that's actually what I would prefer.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that because
I wouldn't mind that either.
Yeah.
it's like when was the last time they came up with a new Disney princess that is like super awesome? Like you go to the store, you still see Lilo and Stitch dolls. It's like
True.
Well, didn't they just come out with that new live action one and no one really liked it?
Because it
a
was so
live
good.
action Lilo and Stitch. Yeah,
No
dude. They
one.
like what are
Yeah.
they doing?
Well, they can't
That's
produce
what I
Well,
was
original
asking. I was
content
wondering
anymore.
what Abe
Yeah.
was referencing about the changes that 'cause I agree, but I just want to see his out.
well, the Star
What?
Wars the Star Wars shows blow.
Oh yeah.
They blow
And
so
you
bad.
guys know about me, right? So yeah, I'm very disappointed with all of that
Well, the
stuff. Even
movies
the
have been
movies.
a massive failure even since
Yeah.
the seventh came out.
Yeah.
Like I think Rogue One is the only good movie, but
Yeah.
where's Disney losing most of their money? Is it in film or
I
like
think it's
their?
just
They
everything.
make money. They're a profitable company.
Well, yeah, no, because they have cruise lines
Yeah,
and
but they're.
resorts.
I don't think
Merch.
Disney Plus is profitable yet.
No,
Um,
I'm curious what their revenue stream looks like. Where did they need to reach the consumer in a
Disney
better fashion?
Disney brings in twice as much revenue as Netflix. They bring in 76 million because we said what Netflix was 30 or 38 million or something, a billion. Sorry, 38 bill. Oh, wait a second. Wait, what was Netflix revenue? I think I might have this backwards.
Netflix was up there about like a lot.
Yeah, wait, let's look at Netflix revenue again because I think I just totally read this backwards. Because Netflix makes. Oops. 11 billion in revenue, a gross profit of 5 billion. We'll just do gross profit. They make 5.4 billion in gross profit. Disney makes let's pull this up again. Disney makes 7 billion in gross profit.
So Disney owns Pixar, Lucasfilm,
And
Marvel
trades
Entertainment,
Disney
20th Century Studios, Searchlight Pictures, Hollywood Records, ESPN, FX News, ABC, National Geographic, Hulu, A&E, and then they have their theme parks and all the other business lines. So
toys
like,
and merch.
yeah, that's why I say when I think this thing is just insanely undervalued for good reason right now, just all I think is you need some new management in there with a backbone and just start taking this thing back in the direction of the American family and you'll be wildly successful.
Yeah, they do they do they also in real estate. I didn't know that. They just sold a luxury home inside their World Resort. The Walt Disney World Resort homes. One of their luxury homes was sold for 6.85 million. Disney's high-end real estate still in high demand amidst a diminishing real estate market. But
That is dedication to the Disney life right there.
Disney adult maxing.
Yeah.
For real.
um, yeah, but at a market cap of 188 billion, you're trading at like 30% Netflix's evaluation, but with 60% gross profits. That's pretty. Yeah, it's cheap here. But I think, like Abe said, for good reason. I would, when I look at where Disney's at though and stuff, I think Angel Studios really has a shot at least quadrupling where they're at. You think about where they're at, how early they are, the revenue they have. I actually reached out to the co-CEOs to see if one of them would do a podcast. Abe, I don't know if you want to do that with me if they agree to it, but hopefully you could find somewhere indoors if we do that. But they both followed me on X, so I'm hoping that they'll agree to it. So that'd be really cool, really really cool. So I'm really hoping we get that opportunity. But yeah, I think that's what we'll call it. This is the No Retakes podcast. We did 0 retakes. Everything's in there. If you would like to be in the podcast on our next episode, which I think we're going to do these once a week. We took a holiday break, but we're back. Join the Discord, and you can also give your comments and be a member of the podcast so you can listen in to these live. Thanks, everyone, for joining up with us. DSB, X-Ray, Trey at Dallas AI, which we'll put out a video soon, and we'll talk about the AI startup that NBT has partnered with and what we're kind of working on there as it relates to trading. It'll be a more technical video. And thank you, Abe, for joining us once again from the front seat. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. God bless.
God
Peace.
bless.